Okay. Well, welcome everybody. For those that are with us and for those that will be viewing this later on, my name is Patty Van Adder, and I serve as the chapter outreach and development coordinator for Phi Theta Kappa. And in my role, I get to work with chapter advisors and also with chapters and regional officer teams and coordinators, and getting them to feel comfortable with all of the programming in Phi Theta Kappa. And now I know you're thinking, well, it's December, Patty, where were you at the beginning of the year? I know you're thinking that, and that's good. And that's a good thought, but don't despair, because there is time. And as Marie was saying a little earlier, for those, I didn't hit the record button soon enough, she was saying that, you know, it's the goal of the greater Northwest region to achieve 5-star region. And so, we've been talking over the last since the summer and over the last couple of weeks, and how can we get the greater Northwest, who was recognized as a 4-star region, to go to a 5-star region for 2023. And I say 2023 because that's when Catalyst is going to be held, right? So our next celebration of all of our chapters will happen in the year 2023, but it's based on everything that we're doing in 2022. And how do we get regions to achieve 5-star? And it's a lot of ways it's really simple, but it does require a little bit of work, right? It requires work of the chapters, right? So 5-star regions, it's based on the amount of chapters in their region that can achieve 5-star, right? And we look for, the number is 50%. We're looking for 50% of the active chapters in the region to achieve 5-star. When we say active, if they have not been active for at least 3 years, then they are not counted against the region. So not that chapters need to worry about this, because you're here, you want to be active, right? So those numbers and all that kind of that mathematical stuff, you know, we'll do with Joseph, your regional coordinator, and the regional team, to give them a number that they can shoot for. But they've been really good all year long trying to gauge where chapters are in the region and trying to increase that number, you know. And so what we do, and because in order for a region to be a 5-star region, it's based on the 5-star chapters, you know, there's where all of the work is, right? So how do we get the majority of our chapters to be 5-star? And so tonight, that's what I'm going to talk about. And I don't know where each chapter is. I mean, I do know. I mean, I could look at it specifically. So it's just going to be a basic overview of 5-star, but in the sense of, if your chapter's at a 1 or a 2, after today, you can definitely be a 3. And you can also think about 4 and 5, because there is time. And there is time with using the word try, right? So in levels 4 and 5, those are where the projects are in Phi Theta Kappa for chapters, right? College project, you may have heard of it, that rests in level 4. And then honors and action, that project rests in level 5. We add a word to it at this time of year when we want chapters to achieve 5-star, and that's try. We want you to try a college project, and we want you to try an honors in action. We're not looking for perfect projects. We're not looking for Nobel Peace Prize kind of worthy projects. We're looking for the word try these projects. And it's more about the process. You guys showing us the process that you followed to get to this point, whether it was ever implemented or not, right? So you could be a chapter that has done the college project and you have done your honors in action. Now you're just focusing on hallmarks. So there's something for everybody tonight. And at any time, if you have any questions, please use the chat. I'm going to ask Marie to keep an eye on the chat. If there's any questions, we'll answer them as we go along, because I know it's a busy time of year for you. It's finals and end of semester, and I don't want to try not to keep everybody too long. So if there's anything that you want me to go back over, I can do that as well. So again, thank you for joining us. And one, I think the first things I want to do, I'm going to share my PowerPoint. I think that'll be first. And I'll probably go back and forth between my PowerPoint and the actual portal, PTK portal, so that you can see where these locations are to get the information for your specific chapter, okay? And again, if there's anything I don't cover tonight, you would like me to go into detail with you, you can always reach out to me and we can meet at another time as well. So let me get this right. So I'm going to here from the beginning, and then I'm going to share my screen. That's how it works best. Yes, I have to talk to myself a lot of the times to get things to work. So, so here we go. I hope you can see my screen. All right, very good. So here we are, rock the finish line. Why do we call rock at the finish line? We're going to be doing these all throughout. Let me turn this light out so you can, my glasses, I got to switch glasses too, so you don't get the glare, but rock the finish line. It's about getting to that 5th level, right? And why is that important? And we're going to talk about that tonight. Real quick, we really believe that every chapter in Phi Theta Kappa is capable of being a 5-star chapter, because that is that program. And I already told you who I was. The 5-star program is all about getting recognized, getting your chapter the recognition it deserves for everything that you do, right? You want that recognition. And it's all about setting a goal, reporting your process, and like I said earlier, for as many chapters as we can get over the finish line between that 3 and 5-star level in the region, we want to push the Greater Northwest region to the 5th level for this year. So several things. So you being a 5-star chapter gets you the recognition that you deserve. It's about pride on your campus, right? Your college president can say, I have a 5-star chapter of Phi Theta Kappa on my campus. It's about all of you and the work that you have done. It also shows when you have an engaged chapter that you have provided the members of Phi Theta Kappa, and also those that are not, if you include provisional members to do things with you in your chapter, an opportunity to engage, right? To engage in making the campus a better place, the world a better place, impact yourself as a student and what you want to do in the future, and also those of fellow students. So it's really important. It says a whole lot. It's all about recognition, the 5-star program. And you have one of the things that is kind of, it's the equalizer, right? Every college in the country and internationally is on a different semester scale. Some are quarter, some are 16 weeks, whatever, they're all different. Some have 3 semesters, some has 4. It's crazy, right? So what we do at Phi Theta Kappa is we say for the 5-star program, we're going to go by the calendar year. This way, with the help of advisors and campuses, they can do their activities within that January 1st, and I'm talking about January 1st of this year, 2022, up until December 31st of this year. If you get those activities in, you're good, right? And we give you the things that we want you to do to check off on. You may probably do 10 times more than what's on this list, but they're just a certain number of requirements for each one. And so just going to go through that with you. And again, if there's any questions as we move along, just let us know. The deadline, though, to post your final updates is January 20th of 2023. So you'll be able to access and report your progress until January 20th, 2023 at 5 p.m. It's a Friday, right? So you have, now and through break and through the holiday season, and you can then post your information there. There are other deadlines that we're going to talk about today, and those are the Hallmark Awards, and you'll see how the Hallmark Awards fit into the 5-star program, because if you're going to be a 5-star chapter, there's certain requirements with Hallmarks, and we'll go through them now. So the goal about the 5-star program is just to get the recognition that your chapter deserves. There are 5 levels, right? It's that roadmap to chapter engagement. It's that roadmap for you as officers and advisors and members to engage others in the benefits of membership of Phi Theta Kappa, right? If we don't share these benefits or give them opportunities, then they're really not engaging in it. And that's not what our mission is, right? Our mission is to recognize academic achievement and build build scholars and leaders. And that's what this plan does. So as you'll see on the 1-star level, that's all about recognizing academic excellence. If you have at least one enrollment period where your chapter is inviting members you're good, right? That's the first level. If you looked at your bylaws and they've been approved, you're good. And they, not that they have to be reapproved every year, but if they're on file, you're good. If your advisor has completed the chapter annual report, done. I always like to say first level, just about breathing, just about existing, easy peasy, right? Everybody can do one. Number two, right, is all about chapter engagement. And what do we mean? And leadership. So if you have chapter officers, no matter how they were, if they were nominated, if they were elected, if they were appointed, as long as you report them to us, and you only need to report at least one, you're good. You have your chapter leadership in place. Have you set a goal in the program? That's also in level 2. So if your chapter has set a goal to be higher than a 1 star, you're good. And we'll talk about how to check that out. Level 2 is easy peasy, right? And also if you've had 2 enrollment periods in the year, that's also falls under level 2. So if you've had one in the spring and one in the fall or summer, spring, however you do it, as long as you've had 2 enrollment periods, you're good. So easy peasy. Love level 3. It's one of my favorites. It's engaging with on the regional level, right? And I know you have a lot of regional engagement in the greater Northwest region. As a matter of fact, if you haven't been able to attend a virtual session for the greater Northwest this year, or if you weren't able to attend their regional convention or any event, guess what? Tonight counts, because this is a regional meeting, and you can, I'll show you where you're going to mark that off. And there's one other requirement under that, and we'll talk about that later. Level 4 and 5, again, it's just about the college project. College project, the focus of the college project, it's linear. It's all about building that relationship with the college's administration by implementing a project that benefits the college, that's directly, I don't want to say, it doesn't have to be absolutely directly, but it is a reflection of the college's mission statement or strategic plan, or some priority that's really important that the college president said, you know, or anybody in the administration wants you to work on, right? So that's what that project is all about. And then, of course, honors in action is on level 5, and also engaging on the international level. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. So like I said, this is the non-competitive part of Phi Theta Kappa. This is about recognition. And to me, it's more important than even the competitive part of Phi Theta Kappa, right? Because this is how you build chapter legacy. This is also how you build a foundation of a strong chapter year after year. Did want to say one thing about this, though. Since the pandemic, a lot of things in Phi Theta Kappa have changed just because of the mere fact that we've been on campus, we've not been on campus, we've been hybrid, not hybrid, whatever it is. Phi Theta Kappa is really, again, even though it's 104 years old, is almost like brand new again, right? We're trying to get our messaging across again. It's all chapters have been struggling with engagement. So please don't. If you say, well, I only have 2 people coming to a meeting, that's great, because it only needs 2 people for a project, right? And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So in order to check where you are, so if you, of course, all advisors can do this, but if you are an officer that's been reported as such, that, you know, your advisor has reported you as a chapter officer, you'll be able to log in and check on your chapter status, and you can also update us on your progress, right? So working with your advisor, you can talk about these things, you know, like, well, who's going to do the updates and all that, make a plan. But you would log in at ptk.org. And then there's this little, if for anybody that hasn't been in the portal, this little button over here, it's not yellow, but I mean, on here it's yellow. You just log in and it will we'll take you through the steps. You're not going to see this, but I'm going to show you in a minute what the website looks like. You're going to log into the portal. When you log into the portal, you'll scroll down to the bottom where it says programs. And in programs, you're going to select the 5-star chapter plan, and I'll show you that in a second. You're going to look at your 5-star links, right? You're going to hit the progress reports, select your chapters, select your chapter's region, which of course that's the greater Northwest region, and then select your chapter. You're then going to go down and check your star level goal column. And if there's no number there, we need you to set a goal. And if the goal has been set, your current status is listed. So I'll show you that in a second. This is kind of like the steps to get there so that when you're looking at this PowerPoint, you'll be able to go through it on your own. So let's see what's missing for your chapter, like what's left to be done or what's left to be reported. It could be that you've done it, you just it hasn't been reported. Anything that's marked green is completed. You're done, don't need to worry about it. We're not going to, you've been given credit for it. If there's a red X in the box, that's something that needs to be completed, or you need to just update your progress and let us know that it's been done. After you go through the boxes, whether you're a chapter officer or an advisor, you'll go down and then click, select the report progress button, and then it will update. And then you can always view your chapter's history. I will say that after you do an update, it does take about 24 hours for the website and the database to match. So just give it 24 hours for it to update so you'll see it. But the advisor automatically gets an email saying that a progress report has been submitted. So let's go. I'm gonna stop share here, and I just want to show you that whole process of getting to the website. So let me I had it up and then it just, hold on one second. All right. Back to the beginning. Okay, so share again, and that's here. So when you log into the portal, and everybody's is a little different depending on if you're an advisor or a member, right, or an officer. So, but everybody has this program box down at the bottom. And this is where I want you to go, to the 5-star chapter plan. And then there's all sorts of really great links, like, what are the requirements, with some frequently asked questions and so forth. And it talks about in the level requirements, which is in each one. So what I wanted to show you is how to check your progress. So if you go in there to get to the region, and then you look for Greater Northwest, and you could do it 2 ways. This is the quickest way. You go into the Greater Northwest, and you'll see every chapter. It's listed in alpha order by chapter. You'll see all the chapters listed here. And then there's columns. So chapter, state, college, star, goal level. So if you're looking here, let's take a look at Alpha Chi Beta Green River, the second one. You can see that they've set a goal for 5-star and they're currently at a 3. But I look over here at the first one, and I'm not seeing a star. I need this chapter to set a goal. Everybody defaults to 1. So this is telling me that this chapter just needs to set a goal. So if you are this chapter, if you're here, one of the things that you would do would be to select your chapter, and then it opens up to this box. So let's take a look here. Remember, I told you 1's easy peasy. Everything in 1 is done, and we mark off number 1, all right? Because you've had a recruitment campaign, we have the annual report, and your bylaws have been approved. So let's go down to level 2. Reviewing the 5-star plan, right? If you are viewing this at some time, any chapter that's viewing this, you are now reviewing the 5-star plan. You can go on and check off that box. But then you have to set a goal, right? And then report any chapter officers. So that's done by the advisor. And I don't want to get too far ahead because I want to get to the other ones. But then you'll see level 3, level 4. And I just want to, for a quick second, because we'll talk about this again. Level 5. You'll say, oh, well, look at this, level 5. This is checked off, this last one. This last one is automatically checked off for any chapter that attend Catalyst in Denver. We do that. So if you have that check mark, that's great. And to me, if that box is checked off, I always like to work backwards, because this is about funding. This was, important to the college that the chapter attend Catalyst. So it's a good signal for you to start working backwards, right? What do I need to do? So it's the hallmarks, it's the honor study topic, it's college project, right? And we'll talk about those in the sense of trying in a second. So when I look down through here, you could just quickly at any time go in and see where your chapter is. But if you're going to report progress, Marie, what's your chapter? I'm going to pick yours because it'll probably be easier for me to do it that way.
Alpha Chi Zeta.
Alpha Chi Zeta. Okay. So, yeah, of course, it's a Seattle College. I could have just looked at it this way. So as you can see here, we're looking at getting that college. This is about submitting a hallmark award, and we'll talk about that, and then also the rest of the hallmarks. Hallmarks, once we receive them, we mark them off. So it's not anything that you can mark off here, except for this level 4, and I'll go backwards to that. So if I wanted to report progress, I would just click the report progress button. And for chapters that need to set a goal, this is where you set your goal for your chapter. I'm not going to touch on that because your chapter will automatically populate there, and you'll scroll down, and this is how easy it is to set the chapter. I want every chapter in the greater Northwest region to set a 5, and we will get you there. Anybody that's watching this here or watching this in the future, we will get you there. I promise you that. Set a 5 and we'll get through the rest of it. And it'll tell you, these are things that are checked off by headquarters. Here's that 3-star level for tonight. Like if you're a chapter that's watching tonight, wasn't able to attend a greater Northwest event, you're going to go down here, and has the chapter participated virtually or in person, you're going to say yes because you're here. And that just leaves this requirement here. And this is really relatively easy to do. If you campaigned this past year, January, February, March, to be a regional officer, your chapter can check off that box. If your chapter hosted or assumed a leadership role in a regional meeting, you can check off that box. If you're participating in any of the regional projects that the greater Northwest region is doing, you can check off that box, right? If those 3 don't pertain to your chapter, you can collaborate with at least 2 other chapters for an activity or event. And it can be virtual, and it can be fun. It could be a fellowship event. It could be a game night. It could be anything, right, that you do with another chapter that's in the area or in the region. Or if your chapter serves on the advisory board. So regional engagement, really one of the easier ones to do and the most fun ones. So after you do all that, you just click that submit button, and then it processes the progress. So you get back to my slide.
Patty,
Yes.
I just wanted to say to everyone that we do have regional projects this year. And if that is one of the items you need to check off, you can participate by just contacting me, and we can set up a Zoom. So we're doing a few different regional projects. We have a regional project that involves creating a land acknowledgement for the entire greater Northwest region. So we're working on that, and that's pretty fun. And then we also have a regional project of encouraging all of the colleges within our region to start free clothing store exchanges at their colleges. We're doing that at Seattle Central College, and so we've been through the process there. Pratik is the VP of the region, and he's also at Seattle Central College as the VP of service. And so we've kind of done a lot of like the work and figured out how to do this on a campus. And so we want to help you. And then another project we have is trying to create a database for the region for scholarships, external scholarships, different scholarship opportunities in Washington State and every state that we represent. And so, you know, that's kind of a long-term goal, but any work that you do to help us, even having a meeting with me to talk more about these things in detail, is you participating in a college project. So I will happily make time for anyone during the month of December. Even when classes are over and everyone's through with finals, I am still available. And so please reach out.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks, Marie. All right, so I'm gonna go back to, oh, I am sharing, right? You guys can see my PowerPoint? Yeah. No?
Yeah, we can see it.
You can see it? Okay, it's terrible. I got new monitors put in and I don't even know what I'm doing. It's gonna take me a month to get used to this. Okay. So let's talk about level 4. We talked about level 3 enough. Level 4 is when, okay, we are going to do a college project. And that's that one where it's like I said, it's linear, right? It's looking at your college's mission statement and seeing what is important, what is in that mission statement that leads faculty and staff and everybody to know about your college. Like, what is that one thing or that important agenda that happens at your college? Maybe it's something that you are aware of on the campus. A lot of campuses have done pantries and food pantries and clothing closets, and maybe it's something like technology, sharing technology, or it could be anything that you might feel that you need, right? That's going to help your campus, your fellow students, and also establish or maintain that really great relationship that you have with the college's administration, right? The other requirement in level 4 is about entering at least one category in your 2023 regional awards. And that box in number 4, we just ask everybody to check it off, because if you're going to be a 5-star chapter, you're going to submit at least 3 Hallmark Award entries. And what's really cool is you write them and they count for 2 things. They count for your regional awards and regional recognition for the greater Northwest. And then they are counted internationally against all the chapters. And those are the ones that are given at Catalyst. So 1 entry counts for both your regional awards and your international awards. And so when you're working to report your progress on level 4, as soon as you either have tried or implemented that college project, you're going to check that box off, and you're also going to check off the box that talks about that category in the 2023 regional awards, because it's automatic. So see these are the 2 boxes that we were talking about. Implement a college project, and it also could be about trying. You could have gotten pretty much pretty far in the process, but it didn't get implemented, or you have an idea that you want to talk about on how you will implement it. And then that category for the 2023. We're going to move right on to level 5, and this is the Mac Daddy of them all, right? They say, oh, we can't ever do this one. Yes, every chapter can do this. It doesn't require money. It doesn't require funding, right? Because remember, we talked about, if your chapter attended Catalyst in 2022 in Denver, you're automatically credited. You're good. But if you didn't get the funding or you couldn't go, that's okay too, because we have other ways. And if you look down here at number 3, we're looking for at least 3 officers or members to complete any unit. And like, there are 4 units in Research Edge. There's 5 units in Competitive Edge. There's 6 units in Transfer Edge. We're only asking you to do 1 unit. And if I were you, I would do Research Edge or Competitive Edge, but we're only looking for 3 officers or members to complete that 1 unit in a PTK Edge course during this year. So that may have already happened. You may already have had chapter members that have done that. And at the end of the year, we go through all of our data and we make sure that that's happened. And then we credit your chapter for that. Or 3 officers or members complete at least 1 unit of a leadership development course. Now, be really honest with you, that's a really awesome course, the leadership development. I really love it. It's my favorite thing in Phi Theta Kappa. It's leadership through the humanities, and it's a little intensive. So I wouldn't do that one. I would definitely encourage you to do one of the units in Research Edge or Competitive Edge or Employment Edge, right? Do any of those, 1 unit. And then save that leadership development for when you come back. And maybe you could do that as a chapter activity, that everybody has to do unit 1 to unlock the rest of it. And unit 1 is all about developing your leadership philosophy. And I think this is a really good way to get started on a new year. Whether you've been doing this for a long time, or you're just new at this, right? I think everybody should do that unit at least every 10 years because your philosophy changes. But definitely take a look at that. And unfortunately, the honors case study challenge, the deadline is already passed for November 7th. So take my advice. If you're one of those chapters that needs that one of those requirements in level 3, pick the one that is where 3 officers or members are doing 1 unit in a PTK Edge course. The second one, I like to walk backwards. The second one is the 3 entries in the 2023, because we're giving them out in 2023, Hallmark Awards. That's your honors in action, that's your college project, and at least 1 individual. And so I'll go through the options in the individual, but I know all of you can sitting here today can think about, and those who will see it later are probably know someone at your chapter that should be recognized for their work, for their leadership to the chapter, to the, it could be a college official, and we'll talk about that in a second. And then number 1 is really key for me, because develop to me almost sounds like try, right? Develop an honors and action project based on the honor study topic that's current. And if you did not know, the honor study topic for this year and next year is the art and science of play. And there's a reason why I'm trying to get you to hear that it's this year and next year. So if you're going to try an honors and action this year to implement, and you don't implement it, but you tried it, you already have the framework to do it next year because you've done the work. You've done all the pre-work. It only happens when we continue on with the same topic for the second year. Now, the end, this coming year will be the last year for the art and science of play. So in January 2024, there will be a new honor study topic. It's going to be great too. You're going to love that one. But you want to take advantage of this year. So if you are trying an honors in action, you're at least doing the framework. And when you come back, you'll have something to do to get started with next year. So that's level 5. And that's what level 5 looks like in the history. So when you're looking at it, you want to make sure that you are implementing, checking that off. This box here, the submit the 2023, we check that off when we receive our Hallmark Awards automatically. So let's talk about those Hallmark Awards. And then I'm going to go back and talk to you about the honors in action and how you can get started on that. We had the 3 categories: individuals, chapters, and regions. And so Hallmark Awards is the competitive part of Phi Theta Kappa. That's where you're doubling your recognition, right? You're getting your recognition from 5-star and you're being competitive to be the best at what was presented throughout the entire society on the work that you've done. Entries are held at my.ptk.org. And like I said before, when you submit them, they're for regional and international competitions. Who doesn't like the bling? Who doesn't like to be on stage? That's what the Hallmarks are all about. If you were at Catalyst last year, it was a great time. It's great to go up on stage and and be recognized for outstanding work. And that's what the Hallmarks are for, right? It's the bling. It's the best of the best, because there's only 50 in each categories that are awarded, and the bling matters. And so here are the deadlines, right? So remember, I'm still saying you can try and do a college project, and you can try and do an honors in action. There's still time. It's only December 5th, right? You have what, if I do the math correctly, how many days left till the 31st that you can actually think about it, right? And then, because those awards, those Hallmark Award entries aren't due for college project and honors in action, aren't due until January 18th. So there is time to be able to try an honors in action and implement and submitting a Hallmark Award entry for it by January. The college CEOs and administrator awards are due this Wednesday. So if you started one, that's great. If not, you might be able to get one put in, but don't stress yourself out by this date, because there's other categories like members, officers, and advisor awards. Those are also individual. They're due January 11th, and followed by honors in action. And then if you have a special alumni on your campus that helps you out, you can submit an individual award for them for January 30th. So you might not get the one for December 7th. You might not be able to submit one for January 11th, but if you have an alumni member that you can recognize, you could do that for January 30th. And all the information is located at ptk.org/hallmarks. And the applications themselves are listed at my.ptk.org. Advisors have to set a delegate. So that, and when we say delegate, the delegate is the person that's going to enter the information into the entry for the Hallmark Award. Highly encourage you, and I'm going to follow up with the advisors in the region after this. Highly encourage you to take a look at the resources that we have on Hallmark Awards, so that you can best tips and practices, how advisors can set up their delegates, and also we highly encourage chapters to work outside of the Hallmark system, using the rubrics, the questions in the rubrics, and answering them and getting them to almost their final draft, if you're being competitive, and then copying them over into the Hallmark Award system. That's the best way to do it. So first you have to have that advisor to name a delegate or a chapter officer or member to be that person. Talked about the administrator awards. Those are all the different categories: the college administrator, a Paragon Award for new presidents. Shirley B. Gordon Award of Distinction is also for presidents. Michael Bennett Lifetime Achievement Awards, it's for a retiring college official. And then the Distinguished Community College State Director Awards. All of the information for these is located at ptk.org/hallmarks. These are additional individual awards. So we have member awards, right? I am so sorry. I don't know why that's doing that. That was my in-call system that should have blocked it. So can you hold on one sec? I'm sorry. I got to call you right back, okay? I'm on a meeting. So anyway, I'll have to edit that out. It's work, and I guess they couldn't see that I was on a Zoom. So anyway, so member awards, Distinguished Chapter Officer Team Awards, Distinguished Chapter Officer Awards, and Distinguished Chapter Member Awards. Those are all due January 11th. We have advisor awards too. The Distinguished Chapter Advisor Team, that's the whole team. A Paragon Award is for new advisors under 4 years of service, and Distinguished Advisor Awards are for those that have been over 4 years of service. And I highly recommend that you think about your advisors, what they have done for the chapter to support you through the year. It's an excellent way to thank them and honor them for their service as an advisor. And then Continued Excellence Awards. And I said, I will send resources for the Hallmark Awards so that, you can take a look at them and see all the different requirements for each of them. Regional awards are this category. Regional awards are for regional coordinators to take care of. There's nothing that you need out of that particular category. And then of course the alumni awards, Alumni Hall of Honor, and then the Distinguished Alumni Association. So those are the Hallmark Awards for the individual category. And then these are the two big ones, Honors in Action and College Project, and those are due January 18th. We talked about this. Who writes a Hallmark Award? It's the members, right? In some cases, there are parts where the advisor needs to write for a not part of the nomination, but the majority, like College Project and Honors in Action, those are all student written awards. There's not for the advisor to do. The advisor is the coach in all of that. And of course, if you have any questions about any of that, you can reach out to us or Jennifer Stanford, who is the person at headquarters that takes care of all the Hallmark Awards. But this is where I wanted to get to. Okay, we didn't finish our projects. Now what? What are we going to do, right? And for, like I said, for college project, it's that something that is very linear, that's very, based on that, the mission statement, based on something that you see. I know for me as a former chapter advisor, one of the things that I would often see, in a need for was a place for students to gather, different clubs together and stuff like that, and have lunch or whatever and talk about what they were doing. And so we created a hub in the cafeteria, and it was just a matter of working with the college's administration to say, can we have a corner of the cafeteria that we can make just for our clubs, right? Or maybe it's something greater, like pantries, or if you are stocking pantries or providing pantries, or maybe it's something in the community, right? Maybe it's a homeless shelter, or anything. You name the service organizations that you can work with, right? And that's that part where, is there time that you can do something? Of course there is. Even now during the holidays, it's even easier, right? Because there's so much need, right? It could be something that you could check in with the region to see what's going on in the region that are addressing these things, that we could do some sort of a college project. And like I said, the thing about the college project is that, remember I told you, it's that building that relationship with the college's administration. It's just getting to know from them that this is okay. This is something that, that we agree mutually that is beneficial to the college, right? And so is there time to get to a meeting with a college president? Probably not. Is there another official at the college that you can meet with, or a dean, or anybody, or student life or student activities that you could work with to do something that could be that college project for the chapter? It can be done, even if it's a matter of, this is what's important to us, this is how we would have collaborated. And it's like, I don't want to say all of it should be, but like, you are definitely making a plan on how this would have rolled out, and then implement, and almost to the point of implementing it, and then saying in the Hallmark Award entry for college project, we didn't get to implement it, but we tried. This was our process. We met with, we decided this was the reason why, and this is as far as we were able to. We look forward to implementing this in the next year. So that gives you that credit for level 4, right? Because you tried. And it's a little bit, you have to think a little bit more about it, because there's no guide to it other than, I can show you where you could look at the, past award-winning college projects in the Civic Journal, and not Civic Journal. So what do you call?
Change makers.
Yes, change makers. I got 2. They're both, one Civic and the other one is, change makers. Taking a look at change makers and just seeing what some of those folks have done, and maybe using that to springboard an idea that you can do from there. For honors in action, it's a little different, and I think this particular topic, the art and science of play, is like perfect for any chapter that hasn't been implemented anything or haven't been able to finish anything, right? It's about picking up the guide, and I'm going to go to the guide real quick, because and pick out a few things I think that are really important for you to see, and how to get started. Hold on one second. So the guide, again, you can find that by going through programs. You just go back, and it's down below honors in action. And so honors in action is like that. This is the crown jewel of programming for Phi Theta Kappa. We are a scholarly honor society, and everything we do starts with scholarship. And so that's why we have this, right? And this is about taking your research and putting it into action, right? And that action could be service, that action could be advocacy, that service could be sharing what you've learned, right? Again, not looking for Nobel Peace Prize kind of like projects. We just want and with this, it's again more about the process than what the action was. It's really important that you keep that in mind. And so the honors program guide, if you haven't downloaded or if you haven't seen it, and I will share links of this as well in my email, is get you to think about different things, especially about this particular topic. So there's 7 themes. There's a description of what this is all about and why we do this, right? How to use the guide, the introduction. And this is where I like to take chapters that haven't been able to finish and say to you this. There are, they label it as 4. No, it's now 3. Definitely everything, excuse me, under 1 and 2, I think are very doable, even if you're not implementing to the action part, right? Investigate and analyze. You can review the honor study program. You can explore each theme, noting which topics excite you or the chapter feels more passionate about or that resonates with them. You can develop your research questions, objectives. What do we want to learn about this, right? What is it that we want to find out? We can investigate academic sources, right? Wikipedia is not an academic resource. What kind of academic resources are we going to need? Reflect and analyze on those resources that you chose. Where is it leading you, right? After you've created that question, that focus question, where does it take you? Then to act and collaborate, right? Consider how your research findings manifest locally at your chapter, regionally with the greater Northwest, and internationally, right? Around the world. Brainstorm a couple things. You can brainstorm, where is this taking us? Like, what we've learned, where is it going to take us? What could we do with it, right? Develop those action objectives. If we had time to do an advocacy or do something, service oriented, or do, it could be anything. Use any word there: build, maintain, create, anything. Any of those things that you think you would have done. This is what we would have done, but we can't. We're going to do it next year, right? Think about it. Who are you going to collaborate with, in this project? Is it other groups at the college? Someone in the community, who other service organizations, if it's something like, having to do with play or theater or anything, who could you collaborate with? And then what would be your plan? So I'm really adamant in the fact that I think every chapter at this point in the game can do levels 1 and 2 if you're highly motivated. Steps 1 and 2. Level 3 is more about assess and reflect. And the first one would be, reflect on and evaluate. We didn't get a jump start. We weren't able to do it for whatever reason. We just got back on campus, but this is what we've done so far and we look forward to. And that's the whole part of reflect and evaluate, as that's where it goes into the Hallmark Award entry, right? There's some game things in here that you can look at. It's really good. But to me, one of the best parts about this guide is the essay, right? It frames the whole thing. Like, it talks about different things as it relates to the art and science of play. There are really great ideas in here if you really read it, right? It kind of gets you thinking. It's definitely thought-provoking and like, oh my gosh, I never even thought of that, or wow, that would be interesting to look at, right? And Dr. Susan Edwards, our Associate Vice President of Honors Programming, wrote this essay, and you will find a reflection of all 7 themes in this essay to get you thinking, right? To get you thinking about different things. Or it might not even be located in here, but if you think back to this current year as it relates to play or theater or anything, for me, I'm a big baseball fan, and the Phillies made it to the World Series, and I was really happy about it. But one of the things I was not happy about was the fact that the majority of people who lived on fixed incomes in the city of Philadelphia couldn't watch the game because they didn't have cable TV. And why was it on cable TV and not locally accessible to them, because the players want more money, the league wants more money, the networks want more money, and it's no longer for the love of the game. And to me, if I was saying to myself, I wish I had a chapter, because I would look at that. Why is baseball, America's pastime, and you can't even get it on free television, right? And a lot of people, including myself, because I don't like some of the national announcers in baseball, went to the radio, and we were listening to the radio broadcast of the game, right? And I found myself going, this is really good. I get to picture it all in my head of what it looks like, and hear the stadium, and not have to, and so that's one of the things that would have led me to something called the theme that was the economics of play, right? And if you scroll down, you'll see theme 2. Theme 2 is the economics of play. What are the financial, physical, and psychological costs of the benefits of play, right? That's where I would have gone. And I would go, you know what? Why does my favorite baseball player getting paid $300 million, and yet I can't watch it free on my television, right? What is that? What needs to change? And when we bring kids to Little League and we're playing, organized sports with kids, or what are we doing? Are we teaching them how to play fair, how to learn the craft of the game? Or are we, where some are, they're just like, those fights at high school games because their parents really, get involved in that deep of a level, right? So all kinds of ways that you can go with something like that. But every theme has a question and a topic and more things that you can explore. It could be that you read the theme and you don't know which way to go, but something else here, you read the essay and you're not seeing anything that's striking you when you go back to the themes and look at them. Systems of play, architecture and design of play, how is that going to change, right? I mean, like, to me, one of the greatest things I used to love was a crossword puzzle. Now I don't even have to get the paper or the pencil. I can go online and do a crossword puzzle. How has that changed, right? It's all digital. Pokemon, right? How many of you can relate to Pokemon cards and collecting them when now it's digital, right? And how's that changed? And so, excuse me, lots of different ways to look at it. So it's just about having an idea and taking it, learning more about it, and where does that research take you. So it's you're taking your research and putting it into action. And action, like I said, can be service, advocacy, or sharing that information as well. And so is it possible? Yes, I say it is possible to do something like this where you're trying, right? And even if you don't get to the end part of it, which is the action piece, you will say that in your Hallmark Award entry, because you'll tell us. But the good thing about it is, remember, you have all of that stuff that you've looked at, and you can start it all over again next year with the same thought process. One of my other favorite ones is this: play it forward. And it's play it forward, not pay it forward. How does the experience of play serve as a catalyst? Where we've heard that word before, catalyst, for epiphanies or new innovations, right? That's just like thinking out of the box, kind of like thinking. And I think that that's also a great way to get started on this as well. What are some of the things that have changed through all of that? And so there's a planning and judging rubric for those of you who have done an honors in action. This is the scoring that you can follow as it relates to the Hallmark Award entries. Breaks it all down, but this is the other key, is developing that research question. And I think this is so that first page where it was 1, 2, and 3, and this one here are the most important to me, because this helps you develop that research question. After you read it, okay, now what do I want to learn about? You got to narrow it down. What's our research question? What do we want to learn more about? And those are all the steps, and it just guides you through the whole thing. And it's good practice, right? Even if you are trying, this is good practice for you to try doing that honors in action. So go back to here. And just to remind everybody that to be that 5-star chapter, you know, you want to do that honors in action. We want you to try. We want you to do that college project and that individual award entry. And at any time, no, I don't want you to look at that one. That's outdated. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. And at any time, if you have any questions or need additional information, we're here to support you. And like I said, please enter that you're going to be a 5-star chapter and we will get you there. We will get you there because it's important for us, for you to have the recognition. It's also very important for the greater Northwest region to achieve 5-star region this year. And we want to do it. You have any questions? Any of you are like, I'm running for the hills here. There's no way. Or how many of you are going to try? Just try. Yeah, good. All right. Marie, did you want to add anything?
I mean, I would love to get a feel of who's going to go for 5 stars. So I definitely see Skagit Valley shaking their head yes. And we've been chatting a little bit on chat, so that's great. But if anyone else is here, this is what I know so far. According to the progress reports, TCC, Clark, SCC, U of Alaska, Bates, Skagit, Grays Harbor, and Green River have all committed to 5 stars. That's pretty exciting because that puts us at 8. We need about 11. So that's, you know, I asked Jennifer about that. And I have a very good suspicion that there are 2 historically 5-star chapters that maybe just haven't checked off the box on the progress report. So I think we're actually closer to 10. So if that is the case, we just need 1 more and maybe 2, just, you know, for safekeeping. So if you're not on that list, but you're here and you think you're going to try, I would love to know. So please, you know, let us know. I am doing all sorts of things to try and put out all the energy out there into the world that we become a 5-star region, and we are just so close. So yeah,
we're gonna get you over there. We will knock every door down, Marie. I know it's very important to you and to the regional office, the entire team, and to Joe. So like I said, it's doable. If you are here and you're listening to it, that's really great. If you were listening to this in the future, it's really important that you reach out to me if you need assistance, if you're a new advisor or, you know, don't know how to get started or how to check off those boxes or anything, or just want me to go through how you could do a college project and an honors in action for trying. Just please let me know and we will get you through it. We will.
I have a kind of specific question about honors in action. Like, let's say that a chapter didn't summarize all 8 academic sources, you know?
So that's fine because you're trying. So maybe you didn't pick 8 sources. You're not being competitive in your Hallmark Award entry. Maybe you only chose 2 sources or 3 sources because you're just getting started and you're telling us. You're trying. We're not worried about you having all 8. Great question. I'm glad you brought that up. I got to add that to my notes. You are trying. We're not asking you to look at 8 academic sources between now and the 31st of December. Get a couple. 2 or 3 is good. Right.
Great. And so I also want to encourage everyone to reach out to Amelia. Amelia is our VP of our education officer for the region. And she has been there, done that, all things HIA. She put together a workshop that talked about HIA. There you go. She has a smiley face. And she is very, very, very willing to have people email her, get help. She has had some special training with librarians about academic sources. She knows all the stuff. So I highly recommend reaching out to Amelia for help with HIA. And we're just so excited to get this information, that we all just have to make some kind of good faith effort, and that it doesn't have to be perfect. It's all about progress for all chapters and the region. And also, I mean, I was just over the moon when Patty said that we could, because of the timing of the topics being reset every 2 years, that we just happen to be one of those lucky years where we can use the same sources we enter into the Hallmark Award entry this year and like use it again in January. So no, nothing is wasted here, whatever work you do. So yay.
Whatever work you do, we just want you to try, because it's all, remember I said, it's all about recognition. The 5-star, right? And it's a good place to start, you know, just by trying. It doesn't, you know, what we have seen a lot of tons of time is a chapter that was like, would look at the honors in action and say, there's no way. We, at this point, there's no time, there's not enough. You only need two people to do an honors in action. That's the only requirement for college project and honors in action. It's 2. But they look at it and they go and they focus so heavily on the Hallmark Award entry. That's being competitive, right? We want you to see the process. That's really what we want, because there's learning in the process, and that's really most important. You know, the top chapters usually for honors in action or distinguished chapters internationally, a lot of the times it's like 0.5% difference between each one, and it could be a period that was missing or a semicolon or something was, you know what I mean? That's that highly competitive nature of it. And there'll be a time that your chapter will get there. Every chapter eventually gets there. It's just, you know, how it all gels the entire year. But we don't want to keep any chapter from being recognized for all the work that they do. And that's why it's important to just try. That's it.
And one important piece that I've heard from, you know, several people, and Joseph, you know, encourages us with this information, is that it's really nice to set up your chapters that you have two officer teams basically working towards these projects. And so what you do now, and then you finish spring quarter, like a new officer team will start fall quarter and finish up. And it's really nice to have two teams, all those different sets of eyes. So when you get to the really more competitive stage with these Hallmark Award entries, you've had more people helping on the project. And so if we as a region can just get in the kind of mindset that just because it may not be due until the following January, it doesn't mean you don't start and get really well along in the process. So your next year fall team can be well prepared and set up.
There's a couple of things that, and you're correct with that. One of the things I want to say is, you know, any student can participate in a college project or an honors in action. Any student does not have to be a Phi Theta Kappa member. As a matter of fact, I highly encourage provisional membership, right? And that's just students that haven't accepted membership. Invite them, go to other clubs in the college, ask them if they're interested, do their outreach. This is not a secret society, right? So I highly encourage any student to participate in any of these projects. That's number one. Number two, it took me 6 years before I got this straight. I think I told Marie this, or maybe I was telling another group, I can't remember. My 6th year as an advisor, I said, you know what? This nonsense of college project honors in action all in the fall semester that makes my hair gray because it's all one on top of the other is going to stop. And so this is what I did. In the spring, we always focused on college projects, starting in January, even though we had just gotten done. We would start January, February on the next year, on that year's college project. And I'd saved honors in action for summer and fall. So summer to learn, fall to implement, and it separates the two, and you're not doing it all at once. Not everybody can do that because of the way their calendars align. But one of the things that you should not hang your hat on is we don't have an officer team, therefore we can't do it. It doesn't require officers, it's students, it's members, it's students is what this is. And building the excitement and getting something that's passionate. There's nothing better than you doing a college project that engages everybody in the campus, right? Including faculty, and support and all that, and staff, and students. I mean, you can find something that everybody will rally around, so. Okay, well, it's 10 after 8. Well, where I'm at, it's 10 after 8. I think where you are, what time is it where you are?
It is 5 after 10. I mean, 10 after 5.
10 after 5. So it's probably the end of the workday for most of you, or end of the classes for most of you. Like I said, I'm going to put I'm going to send it out, but please feel free to email me. It doesn't matter whether you're a member, an officer, an advisor, email me. We will walk you through. If I can't answer the question, I have a great staff supporting me. We have Susan Edwards for Honors in Action, and Jennifer Stanford for College Project and Honor and Hallmark Awards. And I do all the 5-star work. So please, if you have any questions and you're like, oh, can we do this? No question too little, no question. There's no dumb question. Just please ask us, because we want every chapter to get to that 5-star level. So thank you for all that you do. Thanks for joining. I love this. This was great, Marie. This was actually, I want to give kudos to the Greater Northwest region. This is the first rock to finish line that we've had. You beat all the other 28 regions, right? We're going to do this one again in January society-wide, but thank you for letting me practice with all of you today with our updated information. And please let us know if you need anything.
Thank you so much for putting this together for us.
It was a joy.
We are thrilled to get all of this information, and thank you for recording it for us. I just want to say thank you to everyone that showed up, and I know there will be lots of other people that watch this video, and so thank you to you for making the time. We are very excited to be an active region, and for next Catalyst, when you hear all of the more well-represented regions be so loud, we want to be loud too, and we want to walk through what is it called, procession with 5-star region signs and represent. So please,
parade of flags.
Yes,
Parade regions.
Yes. So so I just want to say in the chat, there is another Zoom link. So if you are interested in talking about the regional projects, please click onto that Zoom link, copy it. And so I will be there right after we shut down this meeting. And if you attend that and we talk even just for like a few minutes, you have participated in a regional project. So then you can check it off tonight. So 3rd star, that's it. This is a regional event. That'll be regional projects. Both things are checked off tonight. So anyway, so I will be there. So hope to see somebody there.
Hi, bye everybody.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome so much. Be well.
See you later.
See you. Thank you, Patty.